Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is an online community dedicated to teaching others with classes that will strengthen their skills. It offers membership with meaning. The support of many artists and a community of millions guarantees the exponential growth of your skills. They offer many classes for stuff like fine art, graphic design, animation, and illustration. The classes are useful as they allow you to dip your toes into some topics that you're not really comfortable with doing. For example, I'm not really one for traditional art, so I'm not really comfortable with doing it. That was until I found a class named Ink Drawing Techniques, Brush, Nibs, and Pen Style by Yuko Shimizu. She even teaches you the techniques behind drawing different textures such as metal, feathers, and hair. Skillshare is specifically only for learning, so there are absolutely no advertisements to be found. They're always launching new premium classes, so if you're stuck in art block or willing to try something new, try watching one to expand your skills. Skillshare is less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. The first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. Hey, it's me, your favorite artist that you're obviously subscribed to, and welcome back to another tutorial. What we're going to do today is a highly requested one, and something I didn't really cover in my how to pick colors video, and it's how to shade black or white. Now, black and white is kind of weird to the other colors in terms that like most people tend to prefer like hugging this side of the edge to pick the colors, but I'm going to show you why that's not a really good idea. So we're going to start with white, okay? So let's say you want to draw with white, okay? Or color with white. And obviously what you're going to think to yourself is, oh, I need a shade with gray. So we're going to pick a gray here. And then we're going to start shading. So first I got to get my airbrush tool. And then see, it's kind of looking not so good there. And once you want your second shading color, yeah, that's not completely gray. Once you get your second shading color, yeah, that's gonna even look worse. That's kind of gross, kind of grody. Wouldn't you say? Kind of grody looking. Yeah. So the obvious solution here is that instead of picking just like a full-on gray, what you're gonna want to do for black and white is that you're gonna want to pick a tinted black or white. So like depending on if you're doing cool or warm colors, what you obviously want to do is either tint it with blue or tint it with red. So right here I have two color schemes that are tinted with blue or red. So here, let's see again. Let's see what happens when I shade with this. Yeah, that's the color. And then we're gonna pick. Well, I'm not really good at coloring spheres because I never really practiced doing it, but you can obviously see the difference. Okay, instead of looking like grayish and gross, now it just looks nice and blue. So you can see there. Yep. See, it looks much nicer than if you were just to do straight gray. Alright, then I'm just gonna do that. Alright, well, I'm not the best at coloring circles, but you get the point, right? So you mostly want to color a monochrome color with a tinted color. And for white, a lot of people tend to say that you don't want to color with straight up white, like you don't want to have your base color be straight up white. But for anime, that is an exception because anime tends to pick straight up white aside from like, or instead of like doing like a slightly color that, or like a slightly off white color. That's mostly for realism. If you're doing anime, you don't really got to worry about that. But for realism, that is a rule. But for anime, we're just going to do straight up white. Now for black, it is something different. For black, you do want to follow the rule that you don't want to use straight up black because you can't shade black. So you got to pick a color that's kind of close to black, but not really there. So for both of these colors, they're around the same value. They're about right here. I'm going to show you which colors you should tend to pick in a second, but I'm going to show you, like, I'm going to teach you the basics of this. So, as you can see, this is my black. It is tinted with blue. Oh my god. Okay. And then as you go more down, it follows the same thing from like my color, how to pick a color tutorial. It does the same thing where you pick a color that's lower and you want to change the hue value. So if you haven't watched my color tutorial, then you should probably watch that before coming here. Because for this one too, when you're picking white, you're picking a color. Okay, I get the color picker because it's obviously not working. You want to pick a color that's more down, and you want to change the hue of it. Well, white obviously isn't gonna be recognized by hue because it's just gonna go to the default. But you want to be around purple, and you kind of want to pick a color that's a little bit more saturated and a little bit more darker than white. And then once you get there, you can do the same thing with the second shading color, that you go down a little bit in hue and that you go down a little bit in value, and you want to go more in saturation. And I'll teach you how to pick these colors soon. So back to blue or black. So right here, I'm going to show you what happens when you color with just straight up a grayish black. Here, let's a little bit more darker. All right, let's say that's black, okay? And now let's start to shade with just a full, the least saturated black. Now, this doesn't look as gross as with white, but it still doesn't really look right. It doesn't look that bad, but like I really suggest not doing this, because as you get darker, you're gonna... Dang, why is this? Okay, well, this isn't actually looking that bad. I don't know if... Alright, well, you obviously don't want to follow this rule, alright? It doesn't look as grody as white, but it's still not something you want to do. So here, we're gonna go with the color that I chose, which was this one. And we're gonna color it. By the way, if you want to do a warm color set, it's basically the same thing as doing a cool one, but it's just tinted with red. Everything that I'm doing here, the shading of the circles, it's basically the same thing as if you were doing warm colors. So as we shade with black, that's not the right color. As you can see, it looks... the reason the straight up black probably looked right was because there's no environment currently. Since it's just circles and a white background, you don't really have an environment. But if you're doing like a certain color scheme where you do all cool colors on warm colors, it's probably gonna look more noticeable. But right here, yeah. So I'm just gonna... Oh, I forgot this part. As we shade, we're gonna do that. All right. So here we got our sphere, and you might be wondering, how the hell do you highlight black? Now that you would think white, but that's kind of wrong. Usually, what I like to do is I like to take a yellow color with an airbrush tool, and I like to I always forget which one it is. I think it's either overlay. I can't remember. I think it's overlay. I tend to use overlay because it kind of makes it look more vibrant, basically. Yeah. I tend to use overlay because of the vibrancy. With glow dodge, it's kind of the same thing, but it's more like it's higher in value and it's kind of less in saturation. But with overlay, it looks like it's a little bit darker and kind of mixes better with the black. It doesn't look as harsh. So I tend to use this kind of yellow with an overlay. And yeah. So then I also like to do picking the darkest color, and I like to mix it in with this blue. And so it's this blue because I usually have like cool color works, and then I usually go back to my regular layer, and I like to do this. It's the indirect lighting color. So there, that's basically how I shade black. You have your indirect color, you have your highlight, you have your shading colors, and particular to my style, usually what I like to do is, okay, get out of here. I don't care that I have no notifications. I usually like to do this thing where I kind of put like white at the edges. It's not gonna look good now because it's just a regular sphere, but I'm just telling you what I do. Yeah, so you get the idea. All right, so yeah, that's how I shade black. And let's go back to white. Let's shade white. Shall we? All right, I'm gonna shade white. You know what, let's do the warm colors since I already did the cool colors with black. What I'm gonna do, is I'm going to take an airbrush tool. Oh, okay. It kind of looked weird to me for a second. Then we're going to hard shade. Let's kind of blur it in the middle. And then take the second shade. Still not accustomed to these tools yet. Just blur it. Oh god, that's not the right blur tool. Alright, it's much harder for me to shade white than with black. Like, I'm used to shading with black, but I'm not used to shading white. Alright, whatever. Screw you, white. You never want to work for me. Right, then we're going to do the you know what? We're going to do a much lighter indirect color because this is very dark. We're going to do something like this. Uh-oh, wrong color. We're going to do something like that. And then bam, you can't really highlight white, which is kind of not good. But usually anime doesn't really highlight white. Why did I just pop this out? Why did you come out? Go back in. All right. Usually, like in my style, usually what I do is that I put a multiply layer, and then I kind of do like something like this. Hold up, if I can only find the airbrush tool. I usually do something like this, and then another multiply layer, or another add layer, my bad. Or we didn't even have an add layer, just a add layer. And then I like doing something like this. So you put your highlight, and then you kind of outline it in like a multiply layer, so that it's barely visible. And that's how I shade both, basically. In terms of color, not in terms of shading spheres, okay? I'm not really good at shading spheres. But in terms of shading, you can see that, like, as a recap, I like to highlight the white part, and then I like to put, like, a little multiply underneath so you can notice the add layer. Okay. So, how do you pick these colors, basically? So, I'm going to show you what range you should kind of go for when you're picking these colors. I'm going to get a rectangle tool with an outline. What the hell? Okay. Oh, it was like very high. Okay. So let's say this is your, whatever this is, your color square. Let's say that's your color square. So colors that you should go for, and I'm going to be talking about black at this point. Like right now, colors you should go for like black are colors around this, okay, that's not green. Please be big. Oh my god, you're messing up to me. You're messing up right now, SAI. Or CSP. You know what? I'm messing up. Anyways, colors you kind of want to go for are colors around like this quadrant. Alright, let's just say this quadrant right here for black. But you don't want to pick anything around here or down here. Because this is the edge that you want to stray away from. Because this is like absolutely no saturation. And that's kind of not what you want to go for. And down here is too dark to shade. So you kind of want to have like a good even. So you kind of want to go for an area like around here. Like around here. For your black color. And for hue, you can either, depending on if you picked like a warm color or like a cool color, you kind of want to go for either like a purple hue or a red hue. Depending if you picked like cool or warm. Warm, red, cool, purple, you get it. So this is kind of the area you want to go for when you're picking like a base black color. And then from there, you're just going to want to put down the saturation by a little bit and then the hue. You should already know that if you watched my video. So right here, what we have is a color that is around this area. And then what we're going to do is go down in value and a little bit more in saturation. And then we're going to go down in hue. And that's how you get your shade color. And then once again, do the same thing, a little bit dark in value and a little bit more in saturation and a little bit more towards blue and hue. And then boom, right there, you got your cool ass shade colors. And now, and you would do the same for warm colors too, obviously. And now for white, what you want to do, oh, we can make that disappear. Okay. And then for white, let me crack my back, sorry. All right, for white, obviously you want your base color to be white. It's not really a hard thing right there. But for your shading colors, what you want to do is kind of drag it away diagonally. I said that weird. You want to drag it away diagonally from white, somewhere like right here. And then depending on if you're doing a warm or cool color scheme, you want to, all right, so diagonal. And then depending if you're doing cool or warm, you kind of want to drag it to that hue. So let's say I'm doing a cool color scheme. Boom, right there. My cool color, warm shade color. My cool white color shade color. Okay, thank you. And then once again, you want to do the same thing for the second shade. You just want to go a little bit diagonally and then make the hue a little bit towards blue. And then boom, you have your white shading color. That's basically all I have for you. It wasn't really a hard tutorial to understand. If you've seen my colors concept, then you should kind of understand where I'm going with this. So yeah, that's really all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you thought it was shitty, I could redo it if you want me to. But yeah, leave a subscribe, like, comment. You can tell me what tutorial I should do next. I'm kind of planning to do a layer tutorial next, because like layers are very important to digital drawing, so I think I should cover something like that. So leave a like, subscribe if you like this tutorial, then yeah, see you.